From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are following today. Despite growing opposition, conversion therapy remains legal in several U.S. states, highlighted in a new map from the Movement Advancement Project that reveals where the controversial practice is still permitted. Also termed reparative therapy, conversion therapy is the umbrella term for efforts to discourage or change an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. According to the American Psychological Association, which refers to the practices as sexual orientation change efforts or gender identity change efforts, these operate under the assumption that such identities are, quote, an illness that must be cured, and criticized that the common use of an array of psychosocially harmful techniques includes public shaming or inducing adverse physiological reactions. Catherine Oakley, Senior Director of Legal Policy at LGBTQ advocacy group Human Rights Campaign, told Newsweek that the practice has been widely debunked and produced nothing but devastating outcomes for LGBTQ+ youth, including adverse mental health effects, substance abuse problems, and suicidality. Nevertheless, there is still no countrywide agreement on conversion therapy, with many states yet to legislate against its use. Movement Advancement Project, an equality-focused U.S. think tank, monitors the changing laws on conversion therapy across the country. In August 2022, then-Governor Wolf stopped the use of state funding for practitioners of conversion therapy by executive order, which is still in place now. While Pennsylvania de facto bans conversion therapy on minors, according to a December 2023 report by the Trevor Project, a nonprofit focused on suicide prevention efforts among LGBTQ individuals, Pennsylvania is among the top 5 states with the largest number of conversion therapy practitioners, most of whom are religious. Rounding out the rest of the list are Texas, Minnesota, Missouri, and Ohio. WFMZ-TV is reporting that families and legal advocates filed an amended complaint Tuesday, alleging that Pennridge School District continues to perpetuate a hostile environment for students of color and LGBTQ+ students, according to a news release from the Education Law Center. The amended complaint was filed on behalf of the Bucks County NAACP, the Pair Up Society, and affected families by the Education Law Center of Pennsylvania and the Advocacy for Racial and Civil Justice Clinic of the University of Pennsylvania Carey Law School. The amended complaint, filed with the Office of Civil Rights in the U.S. Department of Education, alleges a pattern of ongoing racist bullying at Pennridge, including targeting Black students with racial slurs and a refusal to protect students from known and pervasive racial harassment, according to the release. The complaint also describes anti-LGBTQ+ policies at Pennridge, including the removal of LGBTQ+ materials from libraries and the implementation of a new bathroom policy designed to limit the bathrooms that transgender students can use, according to the news release. The Education Law Center says that the intense harassment of LGBTQ+ students and students of color has led some students to transfer to online schooling or other districts to avoid the district's hostile conditions, while others have suffered emotionally and psychologically, requiring intervention and care. After years of efforts to bring problems in the schools to light, parents, students, and legal advocates drew wider attention to conditions in Pennridge through an initial federal civil rights complaint in November 2023. According to officials, the complaint asked the school district to directly address race and sex-based harassment to ensure that it did not recur and to adopt policies that affirmatively foster the inclusion of marginalized students, according to the release. And now this news according to the Standard Journal of Milton, Pennsylvania. By a 5-4 vote, the Warrior-run school board narrowly approved revisions to school policies related to non-discrimination. The revised policies were forwarded to the district by the Pennsylvania School Boards Association and were based on federal guidelines, according to School Superintendent Dr. Thor Edmiston and Board President J.J. Lyons. With the vote, The board policies 103 and 104, which guide non-discrimination in school and classroom practices and non-discrimination in employment and contract practices, respectively, includes the revised federal policy that a school district recognizes that preventing a person from participating in a school or educational program or activity consistent with their gender identity subjects that person to more than de minimis or too trivial or minor to merit consideration harm. According to the U.S. Department of Education, the department recently issued its 2024 Title IX final rule that adds and revises definitions, clarifies that a recipient must comply with Title IX and the final regulations in the event of a conflict with state law or the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, and that Title IX and the final regulations do not override any legal right of a parent, guardian, or otherwise authorized legal representative to act on behalf of a complainant, respondent, or other person. And that's today's LGBTQ+ news. Now back to the music here on PEP Radio.